debut.
Women's soccer falls short in Big 12 tournament play.
This is College Press Box.
Welcome back, folks, to your favorite sports show, College Press Box. I'm your host, Katerina Biancardi, and alongside of me, I have the one and only Caden Kinard. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm excited and ready to get into these Texas sports. But first, I heard you had a big night on Friday. Tell me about it.
I did. I was the host of Sigma Chi's Fight Night, which is a philanthropy event that raised over $100,000 for the Huntsman Cancer Institute. It's for a great cause, and a lot of people showed up. And then Juicy J performed after, which was very fun, very interesting.
Very
but
fun.
Enough about me. Texas football, despite losing on the road last week to Iowa State, bounced back and defeated the Kansas Jayhawks 59-20. Let's head to DKR for the highlights. Here's Charlie Strong leading the Longhorns out in their vintage uniforms. Those things look very nice, but 7-0 already. Now here's Gerard Hurd with the bullet to Lorenzo Joe for 37 yards, which set up a Nick Rose field goal attempt from 29 yards, and it is good. Texas now up 10-0 with 11 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Now next ensuing Kansas drive, Ryan Willis is intercepted by the former walk-on Dylan Haynes, who almost walks it into the end zone, but gets tackled at the 4. Everyone's favorite package now, the 18-wheeler, Tyron Swoops comes in for Hurd and scores on a 4-yard run. Texas now up 17-0. Later in the first, Ryan Willis is going to pass it to Ben Johnson for 16 yards along the left side of the field, which would lead to a Ryan Willis screen pass to DeAndre Mann for 13 yards. He jukes out a few defenders, one right there, but then he loses it at the 1, and Shaquem Barbell finds it in the end zone. Kansas scoring, Texas up 17-7. Now later in the second, Tyron Swoops rush over the right guard for an easy 1-yard score. Texas now up 24-7. Now DeAndre Mann, first try in the end zone, nope, doesn't get it. Now here's his second try, DeAndre Mann. He rushes up the middle again for 1 yard, and what? He loses it. Again, how fortuitous, but wait, on fourth down, only the runner can recover his ball. So Texas gets the ball and stops on the goal line. Now later in the third, Deonta Foreman rushes it for 93 yards, the 5th longest touchdown in Texas football history, putting Texas up 31-14, 10 minutes remaining in the third. Now here's Foreman again, up the middle for 9 yards and dabs to celebrate. Texas up 38-14 halfway through the third. Fourth quarter now, Ryan Willis throws another interception. And this leads to Tyron Swoops in good field position, who runs it down 44 yards. If 2 touchdowns is good, 3 is better. Texas is now up 52-14. Now here's Kurt Johnson. Goes up the middle, but fumbles and the ball bounces around. No one can seem to find it, except for Swoops. If 3 is better, 4 is more. Texas wins 59-20 over the Kansas Jayhawks. The lovely lady to my right, the lovely lady to my right, Katerina Biancardi, was at the game. Let's check out her package.
After a shutout loss on the road against Iowa State, the Longhorn football team came back home to play the Kansas Jayhawks. Coach Strong emphasizes the importance of playing consistent.
Well, it starts on the practice field. We just have to take it from the practice field to the game field. And when you look at it, it's, 1 week you don't score anything, and then it's so explosive. And that's what the players have to realize. It's all about just being consistent.
Quarterback Gerard Hurd says, although the team has struggled with confidence this season, he knew starting off the game against Kansas with a determined statement would turn things around.
Just to get on the boards first. When we get that option to go out there, we got to make points every time.
Even when the Horns take the lead, safety Dylan Haynes says the team must remain focused.
But yeah, they got a little momentum there in the latter half of the first half. So, we can't allow that to happen, though. Like you said, really good teams are going to take advantage of that and then, put up a bunch of points.
Despite only entering the second half with a 10-point lead, an explosive, hungry Longhorn football team emerged. The source of inspiration came from what this Texas team has to fight for.
But like I said, we just got to keep fighting. We can't get complacent and feel like, this is it. Like, we're trying to get to a bowl game, and we got to keep fighting to get there.
Coach Strong says he is proud of the team's victory, but continues to stress the value of selflessness on and off the field.
I tell them all the time, what matters the most is the team. And when you start playing for what's on the front of your jersey and not what's on the back, then good things are going to happen for you.
Texas is set to play the West Virginia Mountaineers in Morgantown this Saturday. This has been Katerina Biancardi, College Press Box.
Katerina, what a lovely package.
Thank you, Caden. I really appreciate it. So, folks, you keep it real, keep it here. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into Texas football. This is College Press Box. Folks, thanks for sticking with us on College Press Box. We welcome to the studio tonight our football analyst, the one and only Lauren Barash. Lauren, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Always. All right, guys, we're going to get our first topic of the night for Texas football. Guys, this Texas football team has been on a roller coaster all season. Fans thought things turned around for the better when the Horns defeated OU, but still seem to be inconsistent with execution and their confidence level. What is going on with this football team?
A roller coaster is a great way to describe it, Katerina. In the Red River rivalry, we saw great performances from both the offense and the defense and an overall solid Texas team. Then last weekend, we watched that same team generate zero offense against a mediocre Iowa State team and let them walk all over them. Consistency is a huge issue for Texas. And even though the ending score was 59-20 this past Saturday, I thought the Longhorns were inconsistent the entire game. At the beginning of the game, the Longhorns came out strong, leading Kansas 17-0. Texas fans were up and cheering, and they assumed the game would be a no-brainer from there. But before you know, Texas allows the Jayhawks to steal their momentum, sending the Horns into half only up by 10 points. One of the biggest inconsistencies is on offense. Gerard Hurd had some huge passing plays in the first quarter, and that was about it. Hurd started out 2 for 3 with 121 yards and then completed 4 of his next 9 passes for only 22 yards. Texas fans thought they were getting a glimpse at a pass offense, but that only lasted a couple plays. After the game, Charlie Strong shared with the media that in his halftime speech, he told his players that the Jayhawks were simply outplaying them, and he wasn't wrong. The second half of the game was a completely different story, though. The defense held Kansas to just 6 points after halftime, and the offense found a way to get in the end zone 5 more times. Again, the name of the game is consistency. Luckily, in this particular game, Texas was able to get their act together and pull out a win. But in past games, you either see a consistent, dominant, and energetic team for 4 quarters, or you see a team filled with fundamental mistakes and miscues. Despite injuries and a lot of young guys on the field, Texas needs to find some consistent leadership in order to improve. Who knows what version of this Texas football we'll see this weekend against West Virginia.
Yeah, this Texas football team, like you said, inconsistent, Lauren. Now, Caden?
She's right. This game personified kind of the issues that Texas has had all season. Third downs, Texas was a respectable 6 for 13, but they weren't very good on first downs. They had to rely a lot on big plays to extend drives. If you think about it, Kansas is really a few plays away from leading at the half. A couple fortuitous bounces on fumbles. And Texas plays just a lot of young guys. So we should take for a grain of salt that inconsistency is expected. So good for Texas to keep fighting and actually meet the spread at 29 points is rather impressive for the Longhorns.
I know, I was excited to see them perform towards the end, but it was a rocky way into that game. So now we're going to first we're going to move on to what were the positive takeaways from this game. So offensively, Texas ran the ball well. We had some records broken, and Gerard finally threw the ball. We saw that he actually has an arm. But what are the takeaways from these Longhorns, Lauren?
Yeah, even though the Horns took on a 0-8 Kansas, there were definitely some positives to take out of this game. The offense had a total of 598 yards, and the defense had 6 sacks. I also love that we saw some variety on offense, like you were saying. Last week, it seemed like every single play was an attempt for Jay Gray to go up the middle, only to get a short gain, and that obviously did not work. Against Kansas, we saw passes, we saw runs, we just saw more. Individually, the two biggest performances for me came from underclassmen. First, freshman safety Deshaun Elliott, who had to step up due to an injury-plagued defense, had 2 interceptions on Saturday. One of them came from that crazy tip off a Jayhawk player, and his play was really impressive. Elliott made the effort and dived for the ball, something his fellow teammate Marcus Johnson did not do a lot of on Saturday. The other positive came from sophomore running back Deonta Foreman. Foreman had a career-high 157 yards, including that beautiful 93-yard running touchdown in the third quarter. That is the 3rd longest run in Texas history. Foreman now has 2 of the 12 longest runs ever scored by a Longhorn. During the post-game press conference, Foreman accredited his performance to more confidence in his play. But again, I think it is super important for Texas fans to remember that this game was against a 0-8 Kansas team. Yes, there were a lot of positives, but there definitely were a lot of negatives as well.
Absolutely. Caden?
How about Gerard Hurd throwing the ball 23 times? Jay Norvell's been very hesitant on letting Hurd just kind of let loose and actually see what his arm could do. And this game, he entrusted him. There's good production from Hurd. You saw him progress through his reads, make some nice deep ball throws, and arm strength was a huge issue for him because there's not many teams in the top 25 consistently that are heavily balanced, especially towards the running side. Georgia Tech's kind of the only team that comes to mind. So if Texas wants to succeed, they're going to have a more balanced attack and trust Hurd to make the throws.
The offense definitely had some big-time plays, but we're going to have to see Gerard be more trusted and also the running game to continue. Coach Strong stressed the team before the game that they had to dominate. So let's hear what he had to say on the game as a whole.
Just happy to see our guys bounce back the other night, and offensively we're balanced with the run and pass, 299 and 299. And defensively had some key turnovers there and had a 4th down stop on the goal line, had a good goal line stand, and the turnovers and sacks was really big because when you get the ball back for our offense the way we were playing in the second half, we're able to generate points.
Now these Longhorns are going to travel on the road to Morgantown, West Virginia to face the Mountaineers. How does Texas need to prepare for this game? Lauren?
Well, I feel like we've said it 100 times in the past couple minutes, but the biggest things are consistency and confidence. Gerard Hurd and his offense obviously have the ability to make big plays, but they need to do it every week, home and away. Players need to play with passion and urgency as well. When a ball is just slightly out of reach, you got to go for it. There were so many drop passes against Kansas that could have easily been catches. And then on the other side of the ball, I honestly lost track of how many times a defender would make solid contact with a Jayhawk player and they would slip right through their hands. 3 or 4 Texas defenders would have to help get the guy down. The defense has to commit and finish. Now, West Virginia is 1-4 in conference and 4-4 overall. So I don't think this game is anywhere near impossible for the Horns. But remember that the Horns are 0-3 on the road right now. So this game in Morgantown against the Mountaineers will definitely be a challenge for that reason. If Texas goes in with the right mindset, maintains momentum, and plays mistake-free football on both sides of the ball, I do think they can pull out the win.
Caden?
Well, it got announced today that the game against West Virginia is going to be a nationally televised game. For Charlie Strong, nationally televised games against, as his Texas coach, he's 6-12, and in those games, they've been gashed by the run. Texas ranks right now currently 89th out of 119 teams defensively against the rush. So we got to see Desmond Jackson kind of get a better push off the line and hopefully ball up the runner before the running backs get too far deep and rely a lot on this linebacking core and secondary to make plays.
Absolutely. And lineman Patrick Veja has some more on what he thinks that is going to be necessary to beat the Mountaineers.
I'm going to take this as a point of taking it one game at a time. But this game is very different because we heard about West Virginia and the crowd and all that. So we're not going to make sure that throws us off our game. So we're going to make sure that we prepare mentally and make sure we get this win.
Lauren, before I let you go, I have to get a score prediction for this weekend's game. What's your score prediction?
Well, my biggest hope is that Texas goes in thinking that this team is a top 25 team. So I'm going to try and think positive on this one. I'm going to go ahead and say 24-20 Texas.
Oh, positive it is. Thank you, Lauren, for your fantastic analysis as always.
Thank you, guys.
And don't go anywhere, folks. Stay with us. This is College Press Box.
Welcome back to the greatest sports show on TSTV. Thanks for sticking around. Katerina, basketball season started. Isn't it just fantastic?
Fantastic. I'm excited to see this new era of Texas basketball under head coach Shaka Smart.
Shaka Smart's brought a bunch of excitement to Texas right now. And Shaka Smart's first game as a head coach, well, just an exhibition, it went well. The Longhorns defeated Tarleton State 95-61. Freshman and Shaka recruits Tevin Mack and Kerwin Roach led the team apiece with 16 points. Senior Cameron Ridley posted the In-N-Out Classic, getting a double-double with 15 points and 13 rebounds in just 18 minutes. The Horns unleashed a more up-tempo approach from last year and shot 30 threes, which was more than any game last year. But heartthrob Reese Miller attended the game this past Friday as Texas basketball kicked off the season with a win. Reese has more on the story.
The start of the Smart era. Friday night's dominating victory over Tarleton State was new Texas basketball coach Shaka Smart's first preview at the aggression and havoc he hopes will take Texas back to title contention.
It's good just to get out here and play on our home floor. You know, again, it's a dress rehearsal for us. Obviously, with a new coaching staff, we're just trying to teach our guys the way we want to play and the mindset that we want to play with.
As a coach, I always have the mentality of us being aggressive, so I just want to go out there and attack.
Coach Smart's a great coach. He's going to find a way he's going to find a way for everyone to play. He's going to do what he has to do to get everyone on the court. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He'll do his job.
Friday night's exhibition matchup against Tarleton State may have been Texas fans' first chance to get a look at new head coach Shaka Smart, but three freshmen stole the show. Kerwin Roach, Eric Davis, and Tevin Mack all finished in double-digit points, and the reins appear to be loose on them heading into the regular season.
These guys have been really good in practice now. They're freshmen. They've got a long way to go, particularly on the defensive end. They've got so much to learn. They've been three of our better players, particularly offensively, for the last 5 weeks, you know, since practice started.
Coach Smart really believes in us. He tells us just go out there and play the game like you know how to play. Don't be timid. Don't do nothing like that. So we just go out there and ball out.
Coach Smart just lets us play, lets us be free. He doesn't put any restrictions on our game, so I think that also helps with our confidence.
The Longhorns tip off the regular season in China this Friday against Washington. Reese Miller, College Press Box.
The number 5 women's volleyball team swept West Virginia in 3 sets this past Thursday at Gregory Gym. Senior Molly McCage had a career-high perfect hitting percentage. She posted 8 kills on 8 attempts with no errors. Junior Chiako Bagu also recorded a season-best hitting percentage. She had 9 kills on 12 attempts. The Longhorns also outblocked the Mountaineers 15-4. The Horns improved to a 20-2 for the season and 10-1 in Big 12 conference play.
Kansas eliminated Texas soccer from the Big 12 championship tournament. The Jayhawks scored quickly, forward Ashley Williams getting the first goal 2 minutes into the game. Kansas then doubled the lead in the 74th minute with a goal by Jackie Georgioulis. Texas responded with freshman midfielder Kyra Dalla scoring her first career goal 2 minutes later. However, it wasn't enough. UT outshot the Jayhawks in the quarterfinal match by a total of 15-13, including 7-4 on shots on goal, but couldn't dig its way completely out of a 2-goal deficit. Texas waits to find out their position in the NCAA Women's Championship Tournament.
Texas softball suffered the first loss of the 2015 fall campaign against Texas State. The Bobcats offense got a threat early in the top of the 3rd, but later scored all 6 runs during the top of the 4th. 3 Longhorns, however, managed to get a hit in the contest as senior second baseman Stephanie Cleo went 1 for 1 in a double. Freshman right fielder Reagan Hathaway and junior third baseman Selena Felix each posted 1 for 2 efforts. The Horns will continue their fall matches on their fall run on Tuesday in the makeup game against St. Edwards.
The number 6 women's Texas Swim competed in a top 25 matchup against Texas A&M. At least the rivalry remains somewhere. The Longhorns beat A&M for the first time since 2011. Texas All-American junior Madison Cox notched top 5 national times in 3 events, and UT claimed 10 of 16 events, beating the 14th-ranked Aggies by a count of 166-134. Sophomore Rebecca Milliard swept the sprint freestyle events and edged A&M's Beryl Costello in the 50 freestyle 22.77 seconds, the nation's 8th fastest time this season. Texas continues its horde schedule when it visits a pair of top 10 foes in North Carolina and North Carolina State.
Texas women's tennis clinched 3 single wins this past Sunday afternoon at the 3-day 19-team Kitty Harrison Invitational. Senior Lena Gorovich, junior Nita Corbinci, and freshman Chelsea Krovici claimed all 3 of the single victories against Penn State. 2-time All-American junior Brianna Addison plays this Thursday at the UTSA ITA National Indoor Intercollegiate Championships in New York City. The remainder of the Longhorns head to ASU Thunderbird Invite later this week at Arizona State.
And the number 12 men's golf team competed in the Sun Bowl Western Refining College All-America Golf Classic in El Paso. Gosh, that was a mouthful. Juniors Bo Hostler, shout out to the fellow Mission Viejo man, and Gavin Hall both shot 69s during the first and second round on Saturday. On Sunday, Hostler shot a third round 68 to finish 5th at the Classic. Hall ended Sunday with a 1 over par 72 to finish 11th. Vanderbilt's Zach Jaworski won the event, finishing 6 shots under par, 4 ahead of Hostler. The Longhorns begin their spring season on January 29th and 30th at the Arizona Intercollegiate. Don't go anywhere. You want to miss out on a great man of the street and figure out what's going on this week in Longhorn sports.
Folks, thanks for sticking with us on the best show on TSTV. I have to say so myself.
Absolutely.
This week, Kylie Badgley went out on the 40 acres to test out students' knowledge about the Big 12 Conference.
The Longhorns have many rivalries in their conference. We're out here in front of the Texas Union asking students what they know about the Big 12. How many teams are in the Big 12?
12? 12.
12?
12.
Oh gosh, I think there are 10 teams in the Big 12.
I agree with that. Is it 10?
Can you name them?
Texas.
UT.
University of Texas.
Is UT? OU? TCU? Baylor, Texas Tech.
West Virginia.
How many was that? Like 7? That was 5.
Iowa State.
Oh, Kansas State? Kansas?
Let me see.
OSU.
A&M's not, no. They used to be, right? Okay.
Not SMU. UC, University of California? California?
Rice isn't, are they? No.
Baylor.
Kansas, Kansas State, Baylor, TCU, Texas, OU, OSU, Iowa State, West Virginia. Oh gosh, where are we at? Texas Tech.
Oh yeah.
Is that that's 10?
The Big 12 may be a tricky name, but students seem to know their rivals. I'm Kylie Badgley with College Press Box.
Let's take a look at this week in Longhorn sports. On Tuesday, softball goes against St. Edwards at 7 p.m. And on Wednesday, softball goes against the Sun City Veterans at 6. And then volleyball plays at Kansas at 6:30 p.m. On Thursday, women's tennis is at the ITA National Intercollegiate Indoor Championships.
And moving on to Friday, the men's and women's swimming and diving team go to North Carolina to face on the Tar Heels. The men's basketball team plays Washington 9 p.m. on ESPN, but it is in Shanghai, China. You're going to want to catch that. Track and field and cross country are at the NCAA South Central Regional Championships. And Friday through Sunday, the men's tennis is at the Collegiate Invitational. Women's tennis is at the ASU Thunderbird Invite. And soccer plays in their first NCAA round game.
On Saturday, the men's and women's swim and dive doesn't travel far, this time to North Carolina State at 11 a.m. And football on ESPNU at West Virginia is at 11 a.m. And then women's basketball is against UTSA, 7 p.m., featured on Longhorn Network. Then volleyball ends the week at Iowa State at 8 p.m.
And before we go, folks, on Saturday night's game, the Longhorns wore replica uniforms, helmets, socks, and shoes as a tribute to Freddie Steinmark and the 1969 championship team. At the game, Freddie's family and teammates were recognized to celebrate his life.
Let's hear from running back Deonta Foreman on what this special recognition meant to him.
So when we came back in the locker room, they told us to switch or whatever, and we watched the movie as a team, Freddie Steinmart, and it really touched me. And I never wear my socks that high, but I was like, you know, for this game, for him, you know, I just really wanna just do it how they did it. And I was telling people, pull your socks and like do it for him or whatever. I was just joking with him, but I want to do it. Me and Jay Gray, I told Jay Gray, you know, pull his socks up, and he did. He was like, you know, we could do it. And you know, I just really wanted to go out there and, you know, make plays tonight.
All right, Caden, before the show's finally over, I need a score prediction for this weekend's game.
Is it too optimistic to think Texas is going to win 27-20? I think Gerard Hurd's going to have a little bit more passes attempts this game, and Deonta Foreman, I think, is going to take some carries away from senior leader Jonathan Gray. And I think it's going to be a more productive Texas offense.
I'm excited to see how this week's win motivates them. Well, you know, folks, that's all the time we have for tonight on College Press Box. Catch us every Monday night at 9:30 and follow us on the Twitter for all Texas sports news at College Press Box. For the best sports debate show on the 40 acres, College Crossfire, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. by our very own Reese Miller. He hosts that show. A heartthrob he is. And all our shows are on YouTube. A big special thanks to Lauren Barash, Caden Kinard for joining us. Also to everyone in the studio and Master Control for all this coming together. Thanks for spending your Monday night with us, folks, and have a lovely evening.